नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्यं नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवते उत्तम श्लोके भक्तिं भवतिर्नैष्टिकी। कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकी नंदनाय च नंदगोपकुमाराय गोविंदाय नमो नमः। Hare Krishna. Welcome all the devotees for the morning Srimad Bhagavatam discussion. Today we are going to discuss Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 2, Chapter 5, text number 1. Today we are going to start the new chapter. The canto name is The Cosmic Manifestation and the chapter name is The Cause of All Causes. And in this chapter, mainly the discussion between Brahmājī and Nārada. So Narada asking question to Brahma and Brahma is giving the answer to Narada. So this chapter we will discuss. We will start the first sloka today. Please repeat the sloka behind me. Narada uvāca deva-deva namastestu bhūta-bhāvana pūrva-ja vijānīhi yñānam ātma-tattva-nidarśanam. Word by word meaning. Please repeat behind me. Narada uvāca. Śrī Nārada said, Deva of all demigods, Deva, the demigod, namaḥ, obeisances, te, unto you us, astu, or bhūta-bhāvana, the generator of all living beings,
the generator,
pūrva-ja, the firstborn, tat vijānīhi. Please explain that knowledge.
Please explain that knowledge.
Jñānam.
Jñānam.
Which knowledge?
Which knowledge?
ātma-tattva.
Ātma-tattva.
Transcendental.
Transcendental.
Nidarśanam.
Nidarśanam.
Specifically directs.
Specifically directs.
Translation and purport by His Divine Grace Abhay Charanavarti A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Jai Srila Prabhupada. Translation, please repeat behind me. Śrī Nārada Muni.
Śrī Nārada Muni
Asked Brahmājī.
Asked Brahmājī.
O chief amongst the demigods.
O chief amongst the demigods.
O firstborn living entity.
O firstborn living entity.
I beg to offer.
I beg to offer.
My respectable obeisances unto you.
My respectful obeisances unto you.
Please tell me that.
Please tell me that.
Transcendental knowledge.
Transcendental knowledge.
Which specifically directs.
Which specifically directs.
One to the truth.
One to the truth.
Of the individual soul.
Of the individual soul.
And the supersoul.
And the supersoul.
Purport. The perfection of the parampara system or the path of disciplic succession is further confirmed. In the previous chapter, it has been established that Brahmājī, the firstborn living entity, received knowledge directly from the Supreme Lord. And the same knowledge was imparted to Narada, the next disciple. Narada asked to receive that knowledge and Brahmājī imparted it upon being asked. Therefore, asking for transcendental knowledge from the right person and receiving it properly is a regulation of the disciplic succession. This process is recommended in the Bhagavad Gita 4.2. The inquisitive student must approach a qualified spiritual master to receive transcendental knowledge by surrender, submissive inquiries, and service. Knowledge received by submissive inquiries and service is more effective than knowledge received in exchange for money. A spiritual master in the line of disciplic succession from Brahma and Narada has no demand for dollars or cents. A bona fide student has to satisfy him by sincere service to obtain knowledge of the relation and nature of the individual soul and the supersoul. Om Dasa. Om Ajnana Timirandasya Jnanānjana Shalakaya Chakshulmunidam Yana Tasmai Śrī Guruve Namaḥ. Namo Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Lo Bhakti Vedanta Swami Iti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharane Nirvishesha Shunyavad Pashasha Deshadarane Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna. So today's chapter, it is discussion between the first sloka of the 5th chapter. It is cause of all causes. The Nārada Muni and discussing with Brahmājī. So Nārada Muni asking question about the truth. What is the truth? The individual soul, what is soul and what is a super soul, how it is a connection. So those kind of knowledge he was asking. What is the relation, how this creation happened? All these relevant questions asked by Nārada Muni to Brahmājī. And in the previous chapter, we discussed that this transcendental knowledge, it was initially imparted by the Lord to Brahmājī first. Brahmājī is the first living entity who born from the lotus which are sprouted from the navel of the Supreme Lord. So Garbhadaksha Vishnu, from his navel, the lotus sprouted, and from that Brahmājī born. So Lord imparted first the transcendental knowledge. Brahmājī is the first living entity. So Lord imparted the transcendental knowledge to Brahmājī. So now Brahma has then the Lord created the glance over the material nature and impregnated the material nature. Glance over the material nature. So it's all the creation started. So once all the creation started, the secondary creator, the Brahma became a secondary creator, and he continued their activity. So this is what we discussed in the previous chapter. And Brahmājī, he got the knowledge, transcendental knowledge. So that transcendental knowledge, it is coming through disciplic succession. Like now, the same knowledge, it is Brahmājī is giving to Nārada Muni. So it is not Nārada Muni he was there and Brahmājī pulled him and he was asking questions. It is not like that. Nārada Muni was inquisitive and he was submissive also, and he was doing the service to Brahmājī. Then he was asking the question. So that is the qualification of a student. So the disciple means he should have these qualities. He should be submissive and he should be inquisitive and he should do the service. So first do the service to the Guru, service to the spiritual master, and be submissive to the Guru. Then the inquiries can be established between Guru and the disciple. So that then the knowledge will be properly imparted by the Guru to the disciple. So otherwise, what will happen? Sometimes the people they are not ready to surrender first of all. So they puffed up with their material knowledge, they are not ready to surrender. The current material knowledge, who are all having the people who are having the material knowledge, high knowledge, so they are thinking that they are the one who have the very great knowledge. Yes, they have studied many mundane books, different sectors, books, and they are thinking that they have the entire knowledge of this material creation. So they think that is a core and soul knowledge. But apart from that, there is a spiritual knowledge is there. So which is very much useful for our future. But since they are not at all aware of there is a material, since they are very much pumped up with the material knowledge, they are telling that all these spiritual knowledges are bogus. And these are all myths. So somebody wrote, like Harry Potter, somebody wrote. The similar way, somebody wrote all this spiritual knowledges. Like that, they are thinking. So that is the mentality of the current modern civilization. So we cannot help for them. But whoever have the faith on the Guru Parambara, who are all faith on the scriptures, they should rely on these scriptures, and we should avoid the whatever the instructions specified in the scriptures. And also, we should also inquisitive. So we need to accept a spiritual master who is in the parampara, who is in the bona fide parampara. We need to submissively, we need to ask the question. Before that, we need to serve the guru, and submissively we need to serve the guru, and we need to get inquisitive. Our question also submissive way we need to ask the question so that the knowledge can be imparted. So if you see all the scriptures, all of the scriptures, it is kind of question and answer. In Sanatana Dharma, all of our scriptures are like somebody asking questions and somebody giving the answers. Like that only it will be there. So this Srimad Bhagavatam, Sukadeva Goswami is giving the knowledge to Parikshit Maharaj, and Bhagavad Gita, Arjuna asking question, not giving the answer. Padma Purana, Mother Parvati, she is asking questions, Lord Shiva is answering. So like that, most of the Puranas, most of the things, it is kind of a question and answer. Somebody asking questions and somebody giving the perfect knowledge. So the person who is giving the knowledge, that person, most of the time it is in the scriptures is the Lord or the authorized representative of the Lord, bona fide representative of the Lord, who is coming in the disciplic succession. So that is the reason the same knowledge it is coming till now. So there is no adulteration in that. No. So, and also the person who are all giving the answers, and nobody expecting anything in return. So that is the beauty of our Guru Parampara. All of our Guru Parampara, if you see, what the knowledge, the disciplic succession is coming, the bona fide disciplic succession from the 4 Paramparas, nobody expected anything in return from the person who is asking the questions, whom they are giving the important the knowledge. So all of them, they wanted to glorify the Lord. They wanted to took part in the service of the Lord. That is the only aim. So, and also they wanted to satisfy the Lord. So in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna is saying that his devotees are very dear to him. That's what he told. Krishna is saying that my devotees are very dear to me. But the person who is preaching about my glories, about my knowledge to others, whatever the knowledge I given important, who are all preaching to others, that person is very dear to me. That's what Krishna is saying in Bhagavad Gita. Even that person at the time of death is unable to remember the Lord, because all of the endeavor, whatever we are doing in this material world, our endeavor should be to go back to Godhead. So how we can go back to Godhead? At the time of death, at the end of the life, at the time of death, when we are able to remember the Lord, that time we can go back to Godhead. But why we are doing all these endeavors? So that we can at least at the very moment when the soul is leaving this body, that time we can remember the Lord. That is the only purpose. So that is the reason our entire life we are spending to study the scriptures, remembering the Lord, chanting the holy name of the Lord, and spreading the holy name of the Lord, and trying to take part in the service of the Lord, doing the service in the temple, book distribution, Archa Vigraha Aradhana, and we are preparing the garlands. There are so many services, cleaning the temple, preparing the boha for the Lord, and distributing the prasadam, Lord's prasadam to everyone. So all of the things are, and doing the kirtan, all of the things are the services towards the Lord, to glorify the Lord and also to get the love of Godhead. So doing this, we can get the love of Godhead, because Lord is expecting from all of us that the thing only. So when Lord is expecting that thing, but the entire material world, it is in the opposite direction. Entire material world, what the entire material world is doing, the material world, they are inventing new things like TV, mobile, laptop, and they are sending the rocket to other planets to understand what is there, whether water is there or not, whether it is the living entities go and living entities are there or not, many food grains are there or not. This is the mentality, because this is the low level of mentality that even we are going to the other planetary system, we are not trying to understand this. Who is there? Who is the creator? And what is the purpose of this all creation? This is not If the person has the questions like that, that is very inquisitive. That is a perfect knowledge they can get from the right source. But our inquisitive is, what is our modern science inquisitive? How much inquisitive they are? They are inquisitive whether anything we can get from that other planet, any new material we can get, whether any rare material we can get, something like silica or something rare material we get, so that we can advance in the science. And anything, whether water is there, so that we can send some human beings from here to there, and we can shift from here, because already we destroyed this earth, we can send from here to there. So that kind of knowledge only we are getting into that. And also, earlier in the Gurukulas, in the Gurukula, there is no fees and all. No gurus accepting the fees. Guru Dakshana will be there. Dakshana means whatever their capacity, the person who is studying, whatever the capacity, because Guru, he is not getting any salary from any government or anybody. Guru is living on Guru is a perfect Brahmana. He is fully dependent on the Lord. Whatever the Lord is arrangements, he will live in that way. So that's what already we discussed. The disciples will go for the alms. They will beg house by house, and they will get whatever they are giving. They will come back and give it to the Guru's wife, and she will prepare the bhoga and they offer to the Lord, and all of them eat. They will eat. So this is the way the disciples lived in this Vedic culture. Guru and disciples, they lived in that way. They lived in that way. Guru never accumulated wealth. They won't accept any money also. So that is the way the Vedic culture. But in the current material knowledge, even to get this material knowledge, which is not at all useful, it will be only useful to earn money. That's all. So that knowledge is we are getting that knowledge by giving so much of money, by our hard-earned money we are spending on that. We are trying to get that knowledge. What the knowledge they are giving? In the name of science, they are telling that this chemical, that chemical, and in the name of history, they are saying that this British, they came rule us, and the Mughals came and rule us. So all those, what is the use of that? Glorifying the Mughals, glorifying the British. There is no use, but still we are studying that. And mathematics, we don't know why we are studying the mathematics at all. That kind of mathematics they are teaching in the schools. So whatever the knowledge we are studying in this material world, those are all just for the theoretical purpose. Just wanted to make the person engage into that. And later we are studying into some colleges, and little practical knowledge we are getting according to our section, and we are getting into the job according to that. So all of the things we are spending money to get this material knowledge, which is useful only in this lifetime, and also even in this lifetime also. Once, if you are working, then that is useful. If you are not working, that knowledge is not at all useful. So that whatever the knowledge we are getting in the schools and colleges, it is not at all useful. If you are wealthy, if you have money, that knowledge is not useful. But the spiritual knowledge is not like that. The spiritual knowledge, irrespective of whether you have money or not, the spiritual knowledge is needed for entire humanity. Because without the spiritual knowledge, there is no difference between animals and us. So, but the eating, mating, defending, sleeping, these four activities is common for animals and human beings. What distinguishes us from the animals? Only the religion is distinguished us to the animals, because the human beings are inquisitive. They are doing whatever the activity they are doing different from the animals. They are trying to stop this repeating birth and death, which is the common problem for the entire human society. So not all the others are common problems. Somebody didn't have the food, somebody didn't have the vehicle, somebody has some disease. These are not a common problem, because it is individual problems. But entire humanity problem is how to come out from the birth and death. So that is to get the knowledge for that. That is the highest of everything. To how to stop this repeated birth and death. That is the highest knowledge. So that knowledge, for that knowledge, to get the highest knowledge, there is no money. Actually, there is no money. Only the thing is, you need to be a devotee of the Lord, and you need to approach the devotee of the Lord, so that we can get the perfect knowledge from the perfect source. So that is the way we are getting the knowledge. And also the answer, the question and answer, question should not be a challenging way. And also the person who is having the knowledge, they should not be puffed up with their knowledge. And we can see there was a example in our history that there was a great disciple called Yamunacharya. When Yamunacharya, he was the great, he's the grandson of Nārada Muni. He's from the Śrī Vaisnava Sampradaya. They were lived in Tamil Nadu, in the place called Madurai. In his young age, when he was born, and when he's when he was child, that time itself he lost his father. Yamunacharya lost his father, and Nārada Muni, he was also a great devotee of the Lord. But after his son expired, he also he wanted to get into the sannyasa. He left the house and he took the sannyasa, and he was in the full service to the Lord. Dedicated himself to the service to the Lord. So here, the Nārada Muni's wife and the Yamunacharya's mother and Yamunacharya, these three people were there. Yamunacharya was a child, and these two are women. So they don't have any other mean to have the livelihood. They were struggling to lead the life. That was the stage, in the initial stage. And when Yamunacharya went to the school, the Gurukula, there Bhasyacharya, he was his guru. He is also in the poor condition only. So all these disciples, they need to go to the house to house. They will get the madhukari. That is, they call madhukari. They will get the alms from this the householders. Whatever they are getting, they will come and give, and the gurus, they will prepare the prasadam, they will eat, and the guru will give the knowledge to us. This is the way he learned. He struggled in this life. And at the age of 12, when he was in the Gurukula, at the age of 12, that in that kingdom, there was one great Pandita was there. He was the great, he has all the scriptural knowledge. He is the great knowledgeable person. Like that, the king kept him as a chief minister in his court. And he is also puffed up with his knowledge. So the king has one agenda that if anybody wanted to win over, anybody can come and argue with that person. In the argument, they can do the argument on the scriptures, and whoever will win the argument, that person can become a prime minister, and whoever lost, that person has to pay tax to the government. So that is the order he gave. So the other panditas who are outside of this court, they are all trying to argue with that person, but nobody able to defeat that person. So he was a great scholar. So because of that, he became very puffed up, because the king also kept him in his court as a prime minister, and he's taxing all those other people for this since they lost their arguments. So this is the way the kingdom was. That time he sent this, so this to collect the taxes. The disciples of that particular Pandita will used to come over there, and they used to collect all the other Panditas, all the other who were all argued with him. So the Bhasyacharya also, one of the person, he already defeated by that Pandita, and he came to the Bhasyacharya house and he was asking, so last 2 years you didn't pay the tax, so it is very, we are going to take the action, please pay the tax immediately. They are not in the pleasing way, they are in the ordering way, they are telling to Bhasyacharya's house. So Bhasyacharya house, that time nobody was there, only this Yamunacharya was there. So the Yamunacharya, hearing that, he immediately told that person, okay, what is the why we need to pay the tax? He was asking. Then he told that he lost the argument with my guru. So he is a great Pandita. He lost that, because of that he has to pay the tax. Then Yamunacharya challenged them. Okay, let me come and argue with your guru. If I win the argument, then I can bring the argument. That's what he says confidently, he said. So by hearing that, the king also arranged the argument between the Yamunacharya and the puffed up Pandita. So the Pandita, he was a very learned, he was nobody able to defeat in that the surrounding area. But Yamunacharya is a 12-year person, 12-year boy, he went and he asked 3 questions. He told that I will ask 3, I will give 3 statements. You need to prove that all the 3 statements are false. So whatever that means, whatever he is thinking the 3 statements, you need to give the negative. You need to prove that those are all false statements. So the first questions he was asking to that Pandita, puffed up Pandita, he was asking the first question. He asked, your mother is not a barren woman. Barren woman means there is no child for your mother. So if there is no child for a woman, then after marriage, then we will call them as the barren woman. And the next question he was asking, the next statement he was telling that the king is a very pious king. And the third statement he was saying, the queen is a very chaste woman. So now the Pandita, he need to defeat, he need to give the negative. He need to speak negative and prove that all these three statements are false. So he need to prove that his mother was, he's not a bear. He was saying that his Yamunacharya told not a barren woman, but he born from his mother. So how come he can prove that my mother is a barren woman? He cannot prove. And the king is he told, Yamunacharya told he is a pious king, and he need to prove he is not a pious king. And the third statement he told, the king is the queen is a chaste woman, and he need to prove she is not a chaste woman. So how can he can do that? So he was, because if you say the king was, if you talk about king or queen, what will happen? Anything wrong, if you speak, then immediately the king will remove the head. So that much power was saying the king has had a power. So he got angry and he was shouted, Yamunacharya. So you are a small boy, you don't know how to ask the questions. All those things there is no answer for it. Even then you were asking such questions. That's what he told. But Yamunacharya, he told the scriptural reference, and he told the scriptural reference from the Manu Samhita, and he was giving the defeated. He was counter. He was giving that same, whatever the statements he told, he proved that those statements are false. Of his own way, he was giving the answer. How they give it? That in the scriptures, it is said that if a woman after marriage, if she had only one child, that woman need be considered as a barren woman. Yes, he has the only one child. Since the Pandita was the only one child for his mother, her mother is a barren woman. So he proved the first statement. And the second statement, he told that Yamunacharya, is the king. The king was, he's supposed to, he's told the king he was a pious king. He's supposed to, the opposite falsely, you need to prove that is false. Then Yamunacharya told, as per the Manu Samhita scriptures, he said that the king, he need to accept the 1/6 of the sins what are all done by the prajas in his kingdom. All the living, not only all the human beings who are all in his kingdom, if whatever the sinful activities they are doing, 1/6 of that the sin will need to be accepted by the king. It will go to the king. That is the Manu Samhita. The scriptures are saying in that way. So he referred that. So the king may be, individually he may be a pious king, but unknowingly, indirectly, he need to accept all the sins of the wrongdoers in his kingdom. And so he proved that king is not a pure guy. And the third, he has to prove that his queen is not a, he had to repeat his own statement that he initially said the statement, the queen is a chaste woman. And he has to prove the queen is not a chaste. So he said that as per the scriptures, the queen first marrying the Varuna, Agni, and Gandharva. Then after that only he is marrying with this king. And also in the king, it is said that in scriptures, of the activities which are having to do in our material body, all the demigods are living in our body. All the demigods, they are activating our actions, and whatever the food we are eating is going to be digested. So digesting, there is a God is digesting. So there are multiple demigods are there to do the activities in our body. So it is not king is not an individual person. There are multiple demigods are there in his body. So when this queen embraces his husband, it is embracing all the demigods also. So she is not a chaste study. He already married with multiple persons. It's a kind of Gandharva and Agni and kind of persons. And also in his body, there are so many demigods are there. So she is also not chaste. So this is the way he proved. And see, this is a small boy. He has that much of spiritual knowledge because he is very inquisitive and submissive to this spiritual master. He got all the knowledge in his small age itself. But the person who is puffed up, even though he has a little knowledge in the scriptures, with that he defeated everyone, but he is unable to defeat the person who is having the complete knowledge of scriptures. So this is the way we should not puff this from this pastime, we can understand. And later, what happened? The king gave the half of his kingdom to Yamunacharya. Then later, Yamunacharya became a king, and he left this spiritual activity. Then at the later stage, then the disciple of Nārada Muni, he reminded him that you are not a king, you are your activity is supposed to serving the Lord. Then later he come to the realistic world. Then he surrendered all his appearances to the king again. Then he became a sannyasi. He took the sannyasa and he served the Lord. So this is the entire lifetime of Yamunacharya. So this is why we discuss this pastime. Means the disciple means he need to submissive to his guru, and he need to submissive way, he need to serve the guru, and inquisitive way, he need to ask the questions. And the guru also, he should not puff up his knowledge with his knowledge, because there is the Lord, the entire knowledge. It is not possible for us to get all the knowledge from all, like the God. Yes, Lord is the only person who has all the knowledge. We cannot get that kind of knowledge, full knowledge. So we should not puff up with our knowledge. Whatever we got is the mercy of the Lord. In that way, we have to give the discipline succession. We need to give the knowledge to the disciples. So there's two things we can learn from this sloka. That is, the knowledge should come from the discipline succession. The student should ask the proper questions, and the master, so the spiritual master, will give the answers. So that is the way we can obtain the knowledge. So that not knowledge should not be the material way. It should be ātma-jñāna. That means the transcendental knowledge. What is supersoul? What is soul? What is the relation between, and how to go out of this material world? Like this, if somebody asks, that is actually there is a realistic questions, useful question for our entire life. Hare Krishna. Grantharaj Srimad Bhagavatam ki Jai.